Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you want to go from this to this, stay tuned. Now let's get into it. I know what you're thinking, Dominique, you posted this video already. Yes, I posted it in vlog form, but it's not a detailed tutorial. This is going to be a step-by-step tutorial how to retwist locks. The other one was BTS, behind the scenes, getting our reactions and conversations. No, this is all about how to retwist Sydney's beautiful 4C hair. Look at her hair, it's thriving, y'all. So get ready. You need a comb, clips, a lot of clips, whatever product you're going to use, lock gel, and let's get into it. First and foremost, make sure the hair is shampooed. Shampoo the hair, shampoo it twice, okay? And condition is optional. I condition her hair. You don't have to condition your locks. Okay, so the first step is, look at Sydney's hair. Isn't it thick? Y'all remember her thick hair? Coming back and it's beautiful. So everybody talks about those crispy parts, right? When you get your retwist, they say, oh, look at my parts. They're crispy, they're nice, they're neat. This is how you get crispy parts. Even though Sydney's parts aren't going to be as crispy, because y'all know, if you are a true subscriber of mine, Sydney has been tender-headed all her life and it has not went away. So I'm going to show you a way to do this in a good way. So your kids or whoever, if they're tender-headed, you can be gentle, but I am going to show you how to get neat, crispy parts. Okay, so get your clips, get a bowl, make sure everything is sectioned and neat out the way. Get all hair out the way so you can have a nice, clean canvas, no hair in the way, only the hair that you're working with. I'm going to be using this Basque and Lather edge control. I'm going to use it all over her hair, and a little goes a long way. If you're going to use Basque and Lather, a little goes a long way. I learned to get my comb and dip it inside the product so it won't be all over your hands, or you can put it on the back of your hand. Or I do have one of those watches that you put product on to warm it up, whatever you need to do. And then what I'm doing is I'm not putting it on the scalp. Never put product on the scalp, okay? Put it at the top and the bottom and kind of press it into the hair, warm it up. And what I'm doing here is what we all need to focus on, is the parting. Okay, so there's a section, there's a part. And then you want to go, you're trying to make it nice, but you don't want to have that snap back or make them cry, like right there. So what I learned is go to the bottom section of the part. Bottom. You see how easy it is when you go to the lower section? When you go at the top part, closer to the top of the sections, that's when you're trying to take hair out of the locks. You don't want that. So stay closer to the bottom part and it'll be seamless, because that's where the loose hair is, the new growth. And I didn't do it as much. If it was just like a regular customer that wasn't tender-headed, I would make that as neat as possible, but I ain't got time. We were in a rush this day, actually. So now move on to your first section. Add a little edge control there. A little goes a long way. I like to put it on my hand and rub it through, and then palm roll twice. Then after you do that twice, then you go into lock smithing, where you roll the lock in between your two fingers and your thumb all the way down the lock, and you finish it up with one more palm roll to secure, and then you add your clip. Clip placement is everything. For my first one, I try to see where I want it to sit, but I want it to stay twisted, so when it sits under the dryer, they can look nice and neat and uniformed. So I put 2 clips on it, and then I try to move it out the way. Then I put a longer clip, but I want to make sure the locks are out the way so I can have room to work on my next lock. Another important tip is, when you are retwisting locks, look at the lock and make sure you are palm rolling in the direction that the lock is already in. So if the lock is curling to the right, you palm roll to the right. If the lock is twisted to the left, palm roll to the left. Everything has to be consistent and going in the right way, the same direction every time you get a retwist. Okay, I'm going to explain this again, and I'm going to kind of slow it down for you. So we are palm rolling to tighten the new growth, and then we are locksmithing to handle frizz. That really flattens the frizz and rubs it into submission and basically controls frizz. So locksmith anywhere you see frizz. And then that last palm roll is to make sure the lock is secure. Now put your clip wherever you want it to lay. I like to place it at the very top and then use the longer clip at the ends. Now for the visual learners, I'm going to be quiet and to observe without any distractions. Now the first row is done. Did you guys learn anything? Did you get any helpful tips? Did you get an epiphany like, oh, I forgot that, or I was doing that wrong. That's why mine didn't turn out like that. Let me know in the comments. Also, if you want me to make a detailed video on palm rolling or locksmithing, let me know because I'll do it. Anything to help my babies, I got y'all. Okay, let's talk about this parting. You see how I pulled up? It didn't work, but when I went to the bottom, it worked better right there. And then don't just rake it through. Be gentle. I have to really be gentle with Sydney. Okay, here's a good example. That's up, but if I kind of go under, it works. Right here, loose hair. Under. 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 Under, like closer to the bottom half of her hair, not closer to the top portion of it. Because if you go to the top portion, you're pulling hair from the lock above. Stay below because that's where the new growth is. New growth, i.e. loose hair. Now I'm taking product with the comb and I'm going along the line of the hair. I'm not putting edge control or any product, whatever you're using, I'm not putting it on the scalp. That will cause irritation to the scalp. They'll be scratching and the retwists will be all messed up and only last 2 days because they're scratching and itching. It's not worth it just to get a crispy part. We've been getting crispy parts without putting edge control straight on the scalp for years. That trend came about a couple years ago. I don't know who started it, but we need to stop. I must admit it, I did it a time or two for myself as well, but it's not worth it. Okay, so pay attention. I'm following the part. That's as good as it's going to get for me and Sydney because I choose my battles wisely. This is not a battle. This is supposed to be a time for us to bond and have fun and kiki and talk about things, not for her to be crying, even though it's going to happen because she has a sensitive scalp. For me and her anyway, when she goes to cute, she'll kind of hold in those tears, but I can see it in her face, you know. But at home, she knows she's comfortable and safe, so she will show her emotions. She will even drop a few tears. She will tell me to stop, you know. You know how life goes with me and Sydney. So I make this process nice and comfortable for us. Like I said, I can make it crispier, but is it worth it? No, not for us. Those parts still look good. Now, here we go to the next one. I'm putting my clips in. Get you some long clips and short clips. I'm going to my next section. Y'all, look at how thick Sydney's hair is. Y'all remember how thick her hair was, even through the haircuts and the relaxers. It's back now. Back with a vengeance, it seems like. It looks like it's thicker. Okay, gather your next lock. Make sure that part in the middle is okay, decent, whatever you're going for. Make sure it's that. And then get that hair out the way because we don't want to marry the locks. Add a little bit more edge control on and then palm roll. Palm roll twice. Oh, I did it 3 times. Locksmith, locksmith, locksmith. Get that frizz together. And then one more palm roll and then secure the lock with the clip. Bam, bam. Now, I'm going to speed it up the next section for people who like to watch things in the 2 times the speed. Here you go. When you're dealing with type 4 hair and using basking lather, make sure you're always adding water. The hair and product is easier to manipulate when you're adding water. Water always helps. Water is your best friend. Use it. Okay, so here is an example of something that happens sometimes, often, because we don't know how much product to use, and this is always an indication of using too much product. Okay, so I'm rubbing it in, and then I'm going to palm roll twice. And right there, after you do your last palm roll, you can see there is product buildup right there. That's how you know you use too much product, but all you got to do is wipe it off and put it somewhere else in the hair and then start locksmithing. Easy fix. And also, you never want to make the lock so tight that you're palm rolling 4 and 5 times. No, it does not need to be that tight. The scalp does not need to hurt. The scalp does not need to be red. The scalp doesn't need to get bumps from how tight it is. And then overall, once you start doing that excessively all the time, you're not going to have any hair. The lock is going to fall off the bone. That's too much tension. Now I'm halfway done. Everything's looking good. Can it be neater? Yes. Do I care? No. If this was a client, those parts would be eating it up, eating the girls up. But my client right here, this one matters the most, and what she thinks matters the most, and her time and her feelings matters the most. So I catered to her. So you're going to do what I showed you all the way to the top of the head. Make sure you follow the pattern of the palm rolling, and then you will be great. Sit under the dryer for at least 45 minutes. It's going to lock everything into place. But today we didn't have time, so she only sat under the dryer for 15 minutes. So imagine how these locks would have turned out if she sat for the full time. I am so pleased. Only with 15 minutes. I'm so pleased. This was a rush job. So next time I get a chance to do her hair, I'll make sure we have enough time. She does have a loctician that does her hair regularly. I do it when we don't have time to make an appointment, but I'm so glad that I learned how to do her locks. So this tutorial is to help you guys, parents, boyfriends, girlfriends, how to do locks on your family member or whoever needs the locks done. It's important that you learn how to do, even on yourself. Learn how to do it on yourself. I learned how to do my micro locks. I do all my self reties. Go to your local beauty supply and get a hair dryer, a hooded hair dryer, or go on Amazon, wherever you need to shop to get one. They are available, so you can do these things at home. Look at the parts. They look really good. The locks look really good. I'm so proud of myself. She likes them. But since she only sat under the dryer for 15 minutes and then she went to a birthday party, it kind of puffed up a bit. So they're giving the look of fluffy locks. Have y'all seen those on TikTok? But we are going to, I'm going to not retwist it. I'm just going to reclip it and sit her under the dryer. I'm going to wet it, clipper. I'm not going to add any more product. Just allow her to sit under the dryer for a longer time so we won't waste this retwist. I am going to vlog that, so stay tuned. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a new video. Like this video so YouTube knows that you actually like me and my daughter. Y'all like me. Let YouTube know it. And her hair turned out so well. Like because of that too, because you know it did. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.